Hey, it's Conrad. I acted in, helped film, scored, and edited Winter's War, the latest Burt Entertainment film. You probably know by now that Winter's War is completely different from any of FDB's earlier films. Set in a fantasy universe inhabited by dozens of different races, all the exposition can be hard to take in, so this video is meant to be a proper introduction to the Six Kingdoms universe. To start, I call it the Six Kingdoms universe because in the region where the movie takes place, there are 6 kingdoms, all on their own governing islands, independent of each other. Each kingdom has a numerical name to go with it. For example, there's a first kingdom, a second kingdom, a third, fourth, fifth, and a sixth kingdom. Each kingdom also has a name which is used by its own natives. For example, the first kingdom is also known as Galroidian by its natives. Only a few of the kingdoms play major roles in the movie, so for time's sake, I'll only discuss a few. The first kingdom, also known as Galroidian, is primarily a human-occupied nation, with about 95% of the entire kingdom inhabited by humans. The lore of the first kingdom is very rich and detailed, but much of it we don't have to explain for the sake of time. In short, every human you see in the film is Galroidian. The kingdom dates back to 873, when humans arrive on the island for the first time. Later on over time, other races would settle in different parts of the land. Some races get into a few minor battles, which are resolved in a council meeting between the races that calls for peace in 915. The fourth kingdom, also known as Harlingtonian, is the oldest and one of the most diverse kingdoms, housing almost half a dozen official races. Dwarves are the most common race in Harlingtonian, but only by a small margin. The history of Harlingtonian starts as early as 621, when dwarves arrive on the island from the south. They later set up a base known as Fort Harl. In 747, dwarves and elves from a common native region form an alliance, and in 748, elves come with dwarves to settle in Harlingtonian. Humans eventually also sail to this land, where they build settlements known as Brookton and Lorien. The most widespread language of the Fourth Kingdom is Dwarven. Baknakir is a Dwarven word meaning the land of the strong. This is used by many dwarves as a statement of pride. The war to end all wars. In the year of 931, Galroidian explorers and merchants hit the coast of a seemingly unknown and undiscovered territory. The humans had located a massive island in the middle of all 6 kingdoms, seemingly empty. Soon, through trade, word spread of this mysterious land between the kingdoms, and soon enough, all 6 kingdoms were aware of the island. In each of the kingdom's own interests, they began fortifying different areas of the land, with each nation claiming the island for their respective kingdom. This quickly became a problem, as kingdoms argued with each other over who got to go where. Eventually, all of the kingdoms became very hungry for power and began declaring war on one another. By late 931, each kingdom was in the war effort, Galroidian and Harlingtonian among them. This would become the start of a 250-year war, which was named by later kingdom historians as the War to End All Wars. Galroidian bolstered its population and military power, while Harlingtonian proved itself in battle with brute soldiers and powerful war tactics. Our story takes place 5 years into the war, focusing on the Galroidian side of the issue. After a long desert campaign, General Midas and his soldiers are sent on a mission to occupy a small settlement town known as Brookton in the Fourth Kingdom. This is where they meet their enemies, and the conflict of the movie begins. And that is a very brief explanation of the 6 kingdoms. Thank you for tuning in. Get excited. Winter's War coming April 24th, 2021.